Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades, welcome, welcome. This is Ken the Revolutionary. Get in, get in. Uh, the first order of business as usual. If you're going to watch this on repeat or you're watching it like now, if you already subscribed, go ahead and like the video. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Karibu, 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 everybody. Won't spend a lot of time. As you can see, the matter today is July 16th, Ruto will be removed from State House or not. Let's see. This July 16th has been planned for quite some time now. So we are expecting something to happen. Now, the pro-government PR stance have been on overdrive for the past week. We've had people come out and say that they're pro-government. We've had the Dennis Intumbi and the bloggers saying that, they're actually trying to characterize or paint the Gen Z protest as being chaotic. They're saying it's going to cause chaos. Why should we cause chaos? We are doing well. The government is trying to just perform, but the Gen Zs with the protests are chaotic. I don't know. Just because people have protests, yes, I know historically when we have MAANDAMANOs, especially the Azimio-led MAANDAMANOs, which are the majority of, with their star being Raila Odinga, it has always been chaotic. I mean, they always have run-ins with the police, whether it's, the shooting by the police and, the ODM diehards, they return the favor by pelting stones towards the police and, pillaging, torching cars, all that stuff that happens. I'm not saying that all of them do that. The Azimio folks do that. The ODM supporters do that. But in most cases where Azimio call in for a MAANDAMANO, these are the things that happen. Now, that happened too when Gen Z were having protests, but it wasn't as rampant. The first one was a success. Remember that infamous now July 25th. We remember what happened. Then we saw the infiltration by some factors that, people who probably were sent by Sakaja and other people. So we see that. But anyway, so what do we expect tomorrow? What do we expect? Is Ruto getting removed tomorrow? Because from the tweets, I can see there's attacks from both sides. The president on pro-government bloggers, now they're trying to question who is behind the financing of what's happening in Kenya, the protest. Not only that, they are trying to name people who are, in their words, inciting the protest. The Maguna, the former Chief Justice, I forgot his name, Boniface Mwangi, Hanifa, they're all being painted as folks who are egging on the Wananchi to come out. Now, what is shocking today for me was Ruto coming out and actually naming names, saying that there's a Ford Foundation that are in Kenya, they are behind the funding of this protest, and he warned that he will get rid of them if they continue doing so. Now, some of us may not be buying this kind of thing that Ruto was saying, because we've all known that Ruto has been a Western puppet. So the Ford Foundation being a company or a foundation that is by the West, why would they fund something against their colonial stooge? Now, some people can argue that maybe the West have abandoned Ruto and they're looking at somebody else. I had Mbogo, I forgot his first name, was in one of these talk shows, and he said that now Raila is going to take the mantle. The West are using Raila to take the mantle from Ruto, which I don't see it. Personally, I just think Ruto is using the Ford Foundation to kind of try to disassociate himself with this whole narrative that people have always pushed on, calling him a colonial puppet, a Western puppet, which he is. So I was shocked when I actually had him mention the foundation in its by its name. But let me say this: if it is true that this Ford Foundation is behind the financing of this protest, then Ruto is in deep doo-doo. He will be removed once the West start financing. Financing of protests is not something new. For those of you who are well read, I mean, there's a book out there called All the Shah Men, and it is a book which kind of goes into details how the CIA and the MI6 financed the protest, the popular protest that removed the president of Iran, Mossadegh, to prop up Shah after that. So yes, this is not something new, and in Africa also, this is not something new again. There are Western, these NGOs, they always finance movements if they feel like the president of the day is not is not doing their bidding. They usually do this and finance. For example, the USAID, that's an organization that's known to be using money to bribe country's official to gain influence in a country. It's basically, it's a CIA organization, basically, among others. So Ford Foundation is one of them. But I was just surprised to see Ruto actually mentioning. Karibu Gudia, karibu sana. We shall get in. Let's continue. Now, my friend, the person who's been growing in stature, is not my friend, not my personal friends. I'm just saying my friend. But this guy who I said is receiving his flowers, Mr. Omtatah, came out and said boldly and loudly in daylight and said, hey, listen, Raila, we are not going to allow you to come into this Gen Z protest. You've been making deals with the powers that be to always be in government. You always hijack movements only for selfish gain. I'll play the clip so you can know what I'm talking about. If you haven't had it yet, I will play it. Here it is. Let's see what I'm talking about. All right, here it is. It is by Omtatah. Let me find it if I can find it. Okay, right here. All right. Like the video. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades, like, share, comment as usual. You know what's up. Karibu Gunia. Let's see. All right, let me play you the video clip so you know what I'm talking about. Here is Okia Omtatah, or as I call him, Okia Omtatah.
And he wants to feed on the blood of the children of this country. The days when Raila could play games with us are over. We are not going to allow this thing that he is trying to do again. He wants to feed on the blood of the children of this country. He did his part, but it does not have to be that he only fights when he's out of government and he becomes part of every other government. He extended Moi's stay in power. He extended Kibaki's stay in power. He extended Uhuru's stay in power. Now he wants to extend Ruto's stay in power against the wishes of Kenyans. We have to call him out. The days when Raila could play games with us are over. We are not going to allow this thing that he is trying to do again. He wants to feed on the blood of the children of this country. He did his part, but it does not have to be that he only fights when he's out of government and he becomes part of every other government. He extended Moi's stay in power. He extended Kibaki's stay in power. He extended Uhuru's stay in power. Now he wants to extend Ruto's stay in power against the wishes of Kenyans. We have to call him out.
So now,
the days
you got the point. Now, what is interesting is I strongly believe that the government has something on its sleeves. They are planning something nefarious to happen tomorrow. Now you can, I don't know if you've watched, but there's a bunch of youth that came out in Kisumu, and they were saying that they are not going to protest. As you know, since Raila's called for a dialogue. Now this is what's funny. Let me just listen. I'm a political dietitian. Let me help you here. You know, Raila went to KICC, okay, and when he met Ruto in that signing of the amendment bill, he talked about dialogue. We need to dialogue and talk about our way forward, or whatever the case is. We already know it's a government of national unity. ODM are pushing for it, okay? Then there was a backlash after that when people said, you know, walimsalimia, wakampigia simu, change his number, whatever the case is. He went to Kware and addressed the crowd And while he was talking, was being drowned by chants of no dialogue, no dialogue, no dialogue. So he had to change tune and say no dialogue, and kind of went with the crowd. Even before that, the day before that, he went to Kakamega, and the likes of Wamalwa, Wajakoya, and you name it, they came out and say, hey, no dialogue. So Raila kind of changed. He tried to change tune. But here it is. Here is the thing, though. Even though he was forced to change tune, now he's not talking about dialogue because he's been forced through popular, revolt. People speaking out and say, hey, there's no dialogue, okay? Ruto must go. Hakuna mambo ya dialogue this time. So he changed tune. But even though that's the case, he's saying that publicly, his minions are still pushing for this idea of, we need to dialogue. We need to dialogue, and there should be no protest. Karibu Peter Mbithi. So his followers, if you notice, all the ODM aligned politicians from Nyanza province especially are talking about, no, let's not protest. You saw Gladys Wanga when she was talking and said, okay, we've been fighting, it's time for other people to fight. What's his name? Kaluma came out and spoke. Robert Alai, they kept on speaking. They're saying, no, we are not going to protest. So today, the ODM youth, or whatever the case is, came out and made a statement in Kisumu saying that tomorrow they'll not be part of the protest, okay? This is, they're not protesting against the governors, now you can see that ODM stronghold that is greatly influenced by Raila Odinga are not planning to go for protest because they feel like their leader, is about to get into government. Of course, they are dressing it up as dialogue, but we all know that the real reason why these guys are not coming out and saying, we are joining government is because, they want to fool the gullible, okay? But everybody knows. I think if you connect the dots, But that's the question I'm saying. Even though Raila has been forced by the public, majority of the people, to come out and say publicly, no dialogue, his ODM minions are still pushing this whole idea of, no, we are not joining the protest because our supporters died with fight yao, fight here too. Basically, excluding themselves. They kind of want to exclude themselves as ODM, and actually they're trying to make it a tribal thing. I mentioned in my other video yesterday, pay attention. All the other guys, everyone that was in the Azimio MAANDAMANO, they are making it a tribal thing. Go pay attention. I told you about my Nanjenga. In fact, let me show you. I don't know if my Nanjenga still has that tweet up. He tweeted. Remember, my Nanjenga Ali joined the Azimio protest later on. When the protest began after the elections were announced, Raila wasn't. His Ninio Zake, protest Zake were not catching up really well. So he brought in my Nanjenga to help him with the protest. But now, notice, everyone from Azimio, not everyone, sorry, let me just say that, or most Azimio diehards, people who are close to Raila Odinga, are now singing the same song, okay? They're either doing two things, either making it a tribal thing, or they're saying they're not getting involved in the protest because of their tribe. Like Wanga was saying, we Luos have been protesting, so it's time for other kids from other communities to die. We have already died. Luos have already sacrificed themselves. And the young Luos came out and told Wanga, no, this is not about tribes. We are tribeless, we are leaderless, we are partyless. Don't make it about tribe. They corrected him. Maina Njenga came out and said, in his tweet, he said, Kikuyus shed blood, so there's no dialogue. And a lot of Kikuyu young folks replied in their comments, in his comment section, telling him, hey, listen, this is not about Kikuyu. This is not about tribe. This is about Kenyans wanting change, removing Ruto must go. So you see, the Azimio folks, especially the ones that are kind of close to Raila Odinga. They're doing two things. They're trying to disassociate themselves from the protest because they understand that Raila is seeking for a government of national unity through the NADCO. And two, they're using tribe to try to scatter the flock. They're trying to use tribe to scatter the flock so that our Gen-Z, they're hoping that our Gen-Z wataanza kuangaliana kama tribal, ukabila, wataanza ukabila. Hanifa we sijui Msomali, sijui Ethiopia, we Boniface sijui ni Kikuyu, we sijui nani, we Mjaluo, we sijui. That's what they want. Because, like I said, this Gen Z movement is going to make some people jobless. Raila Odinga does not have the monopoly on MAANDAMANO anymore. They've outdone him. That's why he's seeking to rekindle that feeling. He came out to Kware to look at the bodies and akajaribu kuzungumza na vijana. And they were very clear. They respected him, whatever, but drowned him with shouts of no dialogue, letting him know that, listen, this is not your call. This is our call as Gen Zs. Easy call yako Raila. Your time, the days of you coming out and leading youth to fight for your own selfish ends, imeisha, just like what Omtatah said. So Raila is feeling like Hana Ninio. And again, this is a ploy. Somebody was right. I agree with this. This whole idea that Raila is being used by Ruto to try to take over this Gen Z movement, okay? Your eye control, alafu akisha eye control where everybody say, Baba, yes, Baba, Baba akisema right, tunaenda right, akisema left, left. That way, once he gets a full control of it, he will deliver it back to Ruto by saying, okay, we've had your calls, nimesikia mna complaints, I know what you're crying for, mnataka kazi na nini, so wacha niende nikakutana na Ruto, tukae chini, tuongee vile tunaweza tukatengeneza hii nchi. That's the same thing. That's why he went to Kware to try to connect with the youths again, because he has lost it. Yes, he still has his die-hard Azimio fans, ODM fans. If he was to call for a MAANDAMANO, yes, the ODM fans will show up, but they're not enough to actually shake this administration the same way Gen Z have been out there shaking the core of this government. Ruto, they are coming for you and they're talking as if they want you out. Will it be the day that people march towards State House? That is the question, because there has been a build-up to this. Everything is building up and is cooking up for tomorrow. What should we expect? Because, like I said, the government has their own plans, and I do not like it. I do not like it because you can hear even Ruto in his speeches. He now starts sounding like, instead of, in the beginning, they were trying to say these are criminals. He was calling them criminals. Oh, Mara sijui anachukua Uber. Then he kind of agreed with them after, it was evident that the majority of Gen Z were actually peaceful. Okay? Then he started to say, oh, these are peaceful protesters. Protesters after alianza could feel the heat. Okay? But now, before this Tuesday MAANDAMANO, you can hear him say, oh, we don't need chaos. He's using chaos. Watu ambao anaenda kupora mali. Sijui anafanya nini. He's trying to label these Gen Zs who are ready to hit the streets tomorrow. He's already trying to characterize them and label them as a bunch of young people who are going to cause chaos, destroy property, and basically just cause mayhem. And that is the trick that he is trying to, the narrative is trying to push. That way, in case he does the same thing he did in the last one where Sakaja had to bring some goons in Nairobi to beat up people, rob people, burn businesses, cause chaos, then use the media to label those criminal behavior, criminal incidences as Gen Z committing those crimes. That way he can justify the use of deadly force by maybe using the military or the deadly police that he has been using, that has been gunning innocent, peaceful protesters that we've seen. That is the trick. That's why he's preparing you by starting to call these Gen Zs young folks who are going to cause chaos and destroy property. Will Ruto flee, take a private jet to Congo, or will he stand firm in the White House, State House, and claim his place as the president of the Republic of Kenya? Because as it stands, I think Ruto might be overwhelmed. He does not have an ally. Raila is his own ally, but Raila knows this time this is different. No one is messing around. No one will come around. Right? Wajakoya said, hii mambo ya kulambalamba wazee matako hatutafanya. That's what he said. In other words, he's simply saying, we are not going to listen to this old man. Even Oburu had to come out of his dungeon and made a statement and say, listen, this Gen Z, wacheni hizi protest. They're threatened. They are losing the only leverage they have in order to get power or maintain power, which is the control of the opposition. Those disgruntled, unemployed, frustrated youths that are claiming we want something new. These are not your average young folks. These are folks that went to the college, got their degrees, and they still have no jobs. They see the corruption, the wanton spending by this administration, and they're saying, no. This cake must be divided equally. You cannot have people who think they're better than others where they don't deserve it. They are not there based on merit. So these young folks are saying, no. We are going out there peacefully, peaceably, and we are going to evoke Article 1 of the Constitution, where they are going to express their sovereign authority directly, and they have the right. That is in the Constitution. Ruto cannot say that this is a coup d'etat. This is not a coup d'etat. This is in the Constitution. If the representatives that were chosen in election, elected to go represent the people, fail in their duty, the people have the right to fire them by expressing themselves, representing themselves, exercising their sovereign authority directly. So if 1 million people say, we are going to State House and we are going to ask Ruto to resign as the president of the Republic of Kenya, Ruto will be left with no option but to do so. He will have to. He has no option. That is what the supreme law of the land says. Lydia Karibu Sana, I see you. So that is what I'm talking about. And that is what Ruto fears. That's why you saw Kimani, whatever Kimani is, that Molo, whatever, was talking about this budget. I forgot, I guess, supplementary budget, encouraging people, telling them that they have till next Monday for public participation. They can get involved in this because they know they're throwing everything. I had Ruto even brought back Kazi kwa Vijana, trying to throw every carrot to see if this Gen Z will fall for his nonsense. And by all evidence, it's a bit too late for that, Ruto. You have to evacuate the premises. You have to shuka Zakayo. Raila will not help you. You, along with Raila, will go home. That is his fear. So tomorrow, my biggest fear is this. Yes, Lydia, Ruto must go. God with us. Too little, too late. Absolutely. My fear is tomorrow. I know Ruto is not a fool. He will unleash his thugs, goons, because already I'm telling you, I believe he has been preempting this. He has been thinking about this. He has been thinking about this. That's why he's already characterizing these young folks as criminals, because he knows what he wants to do. He wants to bring people. You'll see in Eldoret. You'll see it in Nairobi. He wants to bring people, probably his most trusted security forces, to dress up as civilians that will come and try to intimidate the Gen Z peaceful protesters by committing crimes and using violence against them in order for them to get discouraged and leave and not even think about marching towards it. This is what I'm telling you. This is what's going to happen. The number tomorrow, if I was to guess, if I had the clairvoyance, I will tell you this. Tomorrow there'll be high cases of criminal activity within the protests. Okay? I'm telling you right now. Write this down. Ruto is planning this. That's why he's saying what he's saying. You don't believe me? I'll play you the clip so you can hear from the horse's mouth. Listen to me. If I can only find it. He wants to, that's the tactic that they want to use. And you can see on Twitter too, they're trying the same thing. They're trying to counter, everything that the protesters are saying by coming up with, Ruto must stay. I don't know what. They're trying to counter what's happening. Listen to me. I want to play you a clip by William Asamoei Ruto. Let me show you a bit, if I can only find it. Okay. Let me just. Gabriel Oguda also wrote something very funny. Gabriel Oguda, something. Let me just mention this, and a lot of Gen Zs are catching on this. Gabriel Oguda is a very suspicious individual. All these top bloggers that were abducted, they are very suspicious. Oguda came out and tried to expose Omtatah, saying that Omtatah voted for that what's that bill that we were getting on with the Sifuna? I forgot that bill. I forgot it. Please, somebody remind me. That bill, yeah, that one. But Omtatah categorically corrected Gabriel Oguda, saying, no, I did not vote for that bill. I wasn't even in parliament, in the legislative body that day. I wasn't even there. But Gabriel Oguda somehow is showing the name. Now, this shows you, like I say, the video that I play of Omtatah there, that was a very strong statement by him for a politician to come out. Not so many politicians have the balls to come out and call out Raila the way Omtatah did. I told you, Omtatah made himself a target, okay, which was ballsy of him. He came on the stage in that memorial for Rex and the guys who died in the protest, in the Gen Z protest. When he came to the stage and waved at the people and he was received, it was sort of like the unofficial endorsement of a presidential candidate. Most Kenyans have said they actually would prefer to have Omtatah to be the next president, including yours truly. So now, after that picture was captured of Omtatah as the only politician who was accepted, okay, received warmly by the Gen Zs, Mambo ikaanza saying that Omtatah now is the new face, is the new president, hope of Kenya, that leader who we've been waiting for in Kenya. And this did not go down well with our usual octogenarians who still wants to cling on power until their death. So the people like Oguda, after reading or watching the video that Omtatah made, exposing and highlighting how Raila has always played the people, Oguda Gabriel, who was so-called abducted, in quotes, comes out and try to paint a fake story saying that Okia voted for that what do you call it? I'll read it for you right now. Conflict of interest bill. He even posted a picture of the some document here. This guy is a fraud. I told you. Some of these bloggers, they most of them, I know the Otero guy or Sama guy was attacked and cancelled. But he said there are many more that are within this Gen Z pro Ruto must go movement that are actually working for the state, including most of these bloggers. And you will know them by their signs, by their actions. I was appalled when I see Ogoda post something about Omtatah. Omtatah had to correct him and said, I never signed on this bill. I wasn't even there. So what are you talking about, Ogoda? But you see, that's an example I was telling you of these people not happy with an outsider rising to power. Okay? Omtatah, remember, has escaped death twice. He was involved in an accident on his way to Busia in Kisumu, where his car was involved in some kind of crash with a tanker, lori kubwa. And not only that, years ago, Omtatah was ambushed, attacked, when he was going on his way to file a petition against the Finance Bill 2023. Okay? And now that the Gen Z have given him his flowers and want to endorse him as the only viable candidate that can run for president, now you can see the snails, the snakes that have been lurking in the tall grass, showing their teeth, whistling through their Twitter accounts, trying to write not so complimentary things about Omtatah. Ruto is a goner. Even if he survives tomorrow, he won't survive any longer. He's done. And if it's true that the Ford Foundation, the George Soros, who is his friend, really wants him out, then the goose is cooked. If his Western darling, who have been protecting him, are now turning against him, if it's true, I still don't think it's true, but if that is true, then Ruto is toast. He won't survive. The only thing he has now is to have this facade, show face of fake bravado, but really the people's will have left you. And it's not only Ruto, because majority of these people in the opposition, I think they're starting to realize that Wembe ni ule ule, it will not stop with Ruto. Wembe ni ule ule. That's why the Kalonzos of this world, they smelled the coffee early and said, let me disassociate myself from this KICC nonsense. And even then, he gave a speech and said, if you're not careful, Gen Z watatumaliza. And indeed, they are starting to claw their way against the political class. Raila was late in the party. He couldn't believe it. He thought his influence, his stature was enough, his name as a freedom fighter. He thought it was business as usual. Showed up in a Kaunda suit and an Othith hat, thinking he's a cowboy. Went to Kware to test the temperatures of the youth to see if they're still behind him. Yes, they received him. Yes, they heard what he said. But at some point, they had to remind him that, listen, thank you for singing these songs. Thank you for eulogizing about our struggle. But times have changed. We are not your ODM sycophants. We are the Gen Zs. We want a better Kenya. We are tribeless, we are leaderless, and we are partyless. No one man dictates what we do or want or fight for. We have a clear understanding, a common goal, which is Ruto must go. So please don't come here talking to us about NADCO and a government of national unity. The mzee went home shocked. He's probably sitting somewhere on the beach with his buddy on FaceTime, William Samoei Ruto, trying to figure out how they can infiltrate this movement and take it over. Their best bet now is the plan that they have hatched of bringing chaos, unleashing chaos, intimidating the protesters through violence and violent acts against people and property. Then you shall hear Ruto in the evening with the press conference lamenting, talking about how much damage has been done by the Gen Zs. He will pretend that he needs to take a hold of the security of this country and use the military if he has to, again, to crack down on innocent protesters. As we speak right now, there are hundreds of cases going on of people getting abducted from Nairobi to Nakuru, everywhere, Nanyuki. Anyone who is believed to be a Gen Z organizer, protest organizer, you will disappear. We saw a clip today of a man who was abducted in broad daylight. And Ruto told us with a long face, straight face, telling us that there's no abductions. Let's listen in. Or should I play you? Let me show you the video in case you missed it. Like the video, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, comrades. Subscribe, share, and do all the good stuff. Now here's Ruto boldly telling us that the Ford Foundation is behind these protests. Are we ready? Okay. Here is the video. Let me start it.
Those who are behind the anarchy in Kenya have no use for anarchy and violence and destruction of property and loss of life. Wale ambao wanasponsor hiyo violence, sisi tunawajua. And I want to call out those who are behind the anarchy in Kenya, those who are behind the sponsoring the chaos in the Republic of Kenya. Shame on them, because they are sponsoring violence against our democratic nation. Mimi nataka niulize watu wa Ford Foundation, watuambie hiyo pesa wanatoa ifanye fujo ndio wapate faida gani? We are going to call them out and we are going to tell them, if they are not interested in democracy in Kenya, if they are going to sponsor violence, if they are going to sponsor anarchy, we are going to call them out and we are going to tell them they either style up or they leave.
Okay. Those are the last barks of a dying dog. Harun, I wish I could. I will, once I finish my live, I will turn on the CC so you can, maybe if you want to rewatch it. I don't know how to turn it as I go on because I don't see that option here. I've gone to settings that I don't have that option of CC. I know some of you, maybe I'm talking too fast and you can't understand me. So I will turn it on once the stream has ended. So that way, if you watch on repeat, you can always get the words for words what I'm talking about. So like I said, Ruto has to show people that he still is in charge. Okay? That is why Ruto has to come out and talk tough, sound like, oh, mimi ndio ndume hapo. Look at this man, gentlemen, who was today abducted in broad daylight. Something that Ruto is still denying. Let's watch this clip. It was sad. I expect more tomorrow.
Asema chenye amefanya. Asema chenye amefanya. Wewe! Hapana, asema chenye amefanya. Hapana, asema chenye amefanya. Usikubali kwenda. Hii ni masaidio nafanyanga hii. Sini yani masaidio na shiko jamaa aje. Ati masaidio nampeleka. Hiyo hata tuna record hii. Tunaweka online hii. Tumechukua mpaka gari.
Incidents like this is what exacerbates the situation. It's a powder keg that will make matters worse if Ruto dares use such tactics tomorrow. Gen Z have surprised everyone, I included. Tomorrow, I'll be curious. I can't wait to see what will transpire. Because Ruto has no shame. It's not only him, it's the entire leadership of Kenya, the so-called representatives on both sides of the aisle. Like I said, what should we expect tomorrow? The same exact thing we've just seen. Not only that, there shall be torching of cars, looting, and people mugged. That is what Ruto is planning. Because remember, you heard that speech when he said the Ford Foundation are financing the anarchy. Peaceful protests is not anarchy. The people who are actually initiating this chaos are his police force. This is what we are dealing with. This is what we are dealing with. So, the Kware killings probe, a gentleman was arrested. I didn't read his name. And the government is trying to convince the Kenyan people that that man was a serial killer. No one seems to believe him, believe the government. Gypsy is telling me it's laughable. Ruto worried about Gen Z being sponsored. What about Ruto and his government being sponsored by his colonizer? What's the difference? Actually, now that you've mentioned that point, the same Ogoda posted something about that he himself with some members of parliament were sponsored by who? Yes, you got it right. Right here. I'll show you. Here it is. Here. Very quickly. Like the video. Right here. Gabriel wrote 9 hours ago. Oh yeah, at William Ruto, your majority whip and deputy majority leader in the National Assembly were sponsored by the Ford Foundation for an overseas trip. According to this document from Parliament, do you want to ask them some questions or you can explain? There you go. I'll enlarge you. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it there? All right. Let me see. I won't read the whole thing. I'll just read the highlighted place. CPST and UNITAR Train Implementation Committee, 7 members of the National Assembly Committee on the Implementation were trained on monitoring and evaluating in a training jointly organized by the UNITAR and the CPST and funded by both National Assembly and the Ford Foundation. Ruto, start packing. Start packing, Ruto. Ruto, William Samoei, start packing. William Samoei, start packing. Start packing. I'm telling you, you are going home. You are going, unaenda. Let me tell you something. For those, I saw Cholet also saying there's pro-government, I don't know, they might be organizing a pro-government protest to counter the anti-government protest. Let me tell you something, Ruto. The thing that he actually does not get, a sustained protestation by the majority of the population, you will not stand it. And if you're talking about money, the Ford Foundation has a lot of it. And the longer we have these protests, the longer they last, the longer you keep on making mistakes by trying to abduct people, shooting people here and there, dumping bodies, and so forth. As I said, it only exacerbates the situation. And these young folks will come out with more vigor in every protest that they call. It is 2 protests a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. They might ramp it up and make it an everyday thing, Ruto. What if that happens? Does he realize how close he came to a news on 27 June? I think he does have an idea. That's why you see he's very nervous. He's doing everything. He's bringing everything back. Kazi kwa vijana, everything. He's trying. Bring in Raila, bring in the military, bring in. All those actions are a sign of somebody who is terrified to death on the inside. We know publicly he has to show that he's, hey, I'm brave, I'm still in control. But we all know you're not. We all know he's not. Think about this. If the Gen Zs are so incensed, okay, to the point where they say, now Maandamano is not Tuesdays and Thursday. Maandamano ni kila siku in every CBD in this country, in all 47 counties. Kila siku Maandamano. Kila siku. And Ford is pouring money. Do you think how long will it take for this government to fall? Kila siku. Waseme kutokea September 1st mpaka 30th, kila siku ni maandamano CBD. Mtu asiende kazini, hakuna kitu inaendelea. Biashara ifungwe. What do you think will happen? George Kinyaga anatuambia Rachel kangaza mizigo. Yeah? What do you think will happen? Harun Peter Kelo Uma anatuambia nobody sponsoring Gen Z. This is a leaderless revolution and the writings were on the wall. I see him resigning or else the judiciary will give an advisory so that the parliament be dissolved. Koome is scared of Ruto. That's where I agree with you, Harun, but where I might slightly disagree with you is I don't expect Koome to give the president an advisory to dissolve the parliament. He won't do it. It happened before. I think Baraga did tell Uhuru to dissolve the parliament. Uhuru alikataa. Kasema kwenda kwani. So that's what I'm saying. So now uliona vile even that ruling, the ruling regarding using the military to come to the streets and protect the state house, you saw how fishy that thing looked. Ni kama Ruto alipiga simu huko akasema musipofanya hivyo. Hey. Hata nyinyi pia mtakuwa abducted. Mutakuwa abducted hata nyinyi. And these people, or you know what I think? It just occurred to me. Remember the case ya yule, was it a policeman or whatever the case is, ya yule judge ambaye alipigwa bunduki akakufa? Do you guys remember that? Mnakumbuka? Yule judge ambaye alipigwa bunduki. You know what? You know, now that I'm thinking of it, that was a warning to the judiciary. Iyo mimi nikipiga 1 2 3 if I'm to connect the dots, ilikuwa serikali ya Ruto passing the message to the judiciary ati msipofanya vile nataka nitawatandika bunduki. This is something that has happened before. Remember when after Maraga nullified the elections in 2017, then the IBC was supposed to be reconstituted, which it was not. Then Uhuru went ahead and, a day before the ruling was to be made, if there was going to be another election or not, Justice Mwita, I think Mwita, what's that lady? Yeah, one of the Chief Justice there, well, Supreme Court Justice. Her bodyguard overnight was shot to death. So remember, again, I'm coming back to this case. Yes, Gypsy. I'm glad you umekumbuka. Sinaipa nasema mambo ni matatu. Resign, exile, or he didn't finish. The public watching someone being abducted, I think, should all interfere during the act. Yeah, but you see, there was one policeman several policemen who had guns, and these guys have guns. What our chapa bunduki, they don't care. I mean, I would love to see that, but it's, you're putting yourself in danger. Even in the end of that clip, a police who was that had big gun was approaching the person who was filming the thing. Yeah. So it's a very dangerous thing. Yeah. Harun Nasema, again, if the president resigns, we shall have a snap election. So this man must resign and be banned from holding any public office, and we elect new, fresh leaders. I agree. Anybody that will be leaving government, including MPs, governors now, wakiondolewa, they should not be, they're not supposed to, they can't run for anything, any public office. I agree with you there, Mr. Peter. Harun, Peter, Okello, Ouma. Yes, I agree. Edith Ambetsa. Now they are busy organizing goons to disrupt Gen Z. Absolutely. But Lenani, I want you guys to help me think about this. Why? Unakumbuka yule jaji alipigwa bunduki? I think that was a message. Because a few weeks after that, in that decision that was unconstitutional, when Ruto called upon the army, waende Nairobi hapo walete ninio, which was unconstitutional because the National Assembly should approve that, but they were not there. So wakakimbia usiku kesho yake, and they passed it. Unaona? But when the matter went to the court, silimuliona vile kitu hiyo kitu ilisomwa. At first walisema hii kitu ni unconstitutional, mara sijui TV kawacha kufanya, then wakarudi wakasema it's okay. Ruto probably made the call and told them, hey, listen, unakumbuka yule jaji alipigwa bunduki? You don't want to end up like that. You do not want to end up like, you do not want to end up like that. It was a scare tactic to send a message to the judiciary, Ruto making sure that, hey, I have this under my control. If you get out of line, I will not hesitate to get rid of you. So, I agree with Edith Ambetsa. Tomorrow will be chaotic, and the chaos will be caused by people who have been government sponsored to come and commit violent acts against peaceful protesters. So protesters, please stay vigilant. Mpaka mukae kwa group. Mtu yoyote anajaribu kufanya kitu kinivyo, mumshike. Mwambie hakuna kufanya kitu kama hizo hapa. Ruto always uses people, paid his goons to do his evils. I mean, yes, last time we saw watu wametoka na mapanga na sijui nini hapo kwa ofisi ya Sakaja hapo. While Sakaja was in sijui Coast, as he was telling us. Yeah? So we know this is his modus operandi. Yeah? This is how these people are behaving. And it's sad. It's sad. It's really sad. It is really, really, really sad. Meanwhile, some people are talking about sijui game plan here 2027. I listened to this and I was like, what are these people talking about? Huh? Sorry, guys. What we're are talking about 2020 Neo. Desperate government. Yes. Edith, you're right. This is a desperate government. And we have to be very careful when we have desperate people. Because they become deadly. Wengine walianza kupanga mambo ya 2027. I'm telling you, Ruto hatafika 2027. I don't think so. Huyu jamaa hatamaliza 2025. Ataondolewa.
Political dynamics in the country.
Hold on, guys.
At the height of developing political dynamics in the country, President William Ruto has seemingly been thrown between a rock and a hard place as he navigates the murky political season. And in what could be an indicator that the president is cautious of repercussions that may come with any of his political decisions, the president this week met at least 60 leaders from Mount Kenya, and the agenda of the meeting was to convince the leaders that he was preparing to form a government involving the opposition.
And I think the best person who could have been consulted is that particular person who is the deputy president.
But political observers say that in forming a new cabinet, Ruto may have found an opportunity to reorganize his political game plan, targeting to be re-elected in 2027, but amidst changing political dynamics, influenced largely by the recent protests.
Is now trying to use this particular time and an opportunity to bring in opposition for preparation for his re-election in 2027.
I humbly request him to bring in the deputy president and let them sit together and craft even a better cabinet.
During the signing of the IEBC Act, the president gave the clearest indication that he was ready to form what he called a political broad-based government, but concerns have been raised as to whether including opposition to his government would be a game changer.
I will immediately engage in extensive consultations across different sectors and political formations with the aim of setting up a broad-based government.
Let him bring people who believed in his vision, who know what the better agenda is. And
bringing opposition into the government, it means you are killing the democracy, and what you are doing is that you are bringing the whole cycle together, and that is a compromise of what we call watchdog or public affairs.
We don't want to be seen to be sanitizing a regime that has fallen.
The question of whether the president would reappoint cabinet secretaries who were recently dismissed has formed part of the debate that may leave him in a quagmire. And even more is the question of if the president would give a heavy consideration to politicians or technocrats in his new selections. And political pundits argue that whichever move that he makes, he would have to be careful of the political repercussions.
There were those who are used to fight other people, brought disharmony in government. He must never allow them.
And therefore, bring people who can bring sanity into the cabinet.
Our president needs the Solomonic wisdom so that he can deal with the things he can see and the things that he cannot see.
The political class has been thrown back to the drawing board following the protests by the youth, and the president has to weigh tough options, one of which is the position of the youth in the cabinet, considering how it is perceived that they would have a huge influence in how the outcome of the 2027 vote might be.
The best thing for the president to do is to bring inclusivity of young people in his cabinet, other than bringing old guys still to his government.
Anyone with even a whim of a scandal or a corruption, scandal hanging over their head should not be brought in.
There have been demands for the president to reduce the number of cabinet secretaries from 22 to a proposed 15. But then, experts see this as an acid test for the president as he tries to achieve regional balance in his cabinet and at the same time listening to the demands of the people.
The regions that voted overwhelmingly for him will be looking to see how he treats them this time round.
Kimani Ngunjiri, K24, Nairobi.
Okay. So, Ruto, I mean, I feel sorry for these political pundits who think that Ruto will last 2027. And I want to disagree with the gentleman who was saying that Ruto should bring young people into his cabinet or the next cabinet or whatever the case into government. The problem is not about age. Age is not a factor here. You know, Kenyans won't mind if we have a 100-year-old man who is have integrity and does what is the best interest of the country first. Okay, so it's not about age. That's not the issue. The issue is at this point, of in time is that Ruto needs to resign and leave. Why should he resign and leave? Because majority of the people, democracy, ruled by the majority, have concluded that he is unfit to govern. He has let the Kenyan people down. He has not fulfilled his mandate. Okay? The fish rots from the head. So for him to cut the tail off and expect people to be happy, no, we are not happy, Ruto. It's time for you to go. And that's the message that we are sending to Raila when he attempted to, go have a dialogue or push on with this narco nonsense that he's still pushing for. That is the message that Kenyans are telling Ruto. It is too late. When we were trying to tell you, when we were trying to tell Ruto, listen, fix this. Wakina Murkomen are defecating in our faces while you say there's no money. Okay? Oscar Sudis, Moses Kurias, the former CS now of agriculture. When they were telling you to fix it, what did you do? You never listened. Okay? When we went out and protested peaceably as it is enshrined in our constitution, what did you do? You shut us down. Massacred people in Githurai. Then you come out and say, oh, you know what? Let's have a dialogue. Let me call my brother Raila Odinga, another octogenarian who has let this country down over and over. And you're preaching to us about multi-sectoral meeting nonsense. What is there to talk about if you're already massacring people? There's no need for a conflict resolution discussions. There's only one straightforward answer that Kenyans want, and that is for you, Mr. President William Samoei Ruto, to resign. Not only you, so don't get any ideas, Mr. Gachagua. When we say Mr. Ruto must go and he has to resign, we mean the whole cabinet, the whole executive. So Gachagua, you too needs to go home. When Ruto leaves, you also leave. Musalia Mudavadi too. The whole executive branch of government needs to go home. That's what Kenyans mean when they say Ruto must go. JPJ is telling me he literally has nothing to lose by resigning. Reports came out on Nation that he suffers from a messiah complex. Absolutely. He thinks he's the messiah. I won't even say messiah complex. He suffers from because messiah complex is when you feel like you are the Raila is the one who have the messiah complex. See, he came. If you read what Mbadi wrote last week when they were talking about the narco stuff, when he said Raila has to come again and rescue the situation. Read that, Nino. That's the messiah complex that they have. Ruto is more of I don't want to say narcissistic. Yes, he can fall under that category. He's delusional. He's really delusional. Like he doesn't get it. He won't. He won't get it. He doesn't want to get it. to say that. He doesn't care. And to me, he strikes me as somebody who is willing to burn down the whole country as long as he becomes the president. He stays remain in power. That's what he, but he's scrambling right now for anything. Like I mentioned, he's showing us that he's panicking when he brought in the military. He showed us that he's panicking when he fired his cabinet. He showed us that he's panicking when he's now bringing Kazi kwa Vijana again. He's showing us that he's panicking when he brought back Raila Odinga and ODM, tried to co-opt them, thinking that we are going to stay like this till 2027. The Gen Zs are saying no dialogue. We're not talking. We're past that stage. Tumeshapita hapo. Hakuna kitu ya kuongea. Sasa hii ni kutoka. We want to, or the only thing we want to hear from you, Ruto, is that I've resigned. Or let's have a fresh elections. Kila mtu arudi nyumbani. Dissolve the parliament. Re-election. Tena. Kila mtu turudi. That's what people want to hear. Nothing short of that. Multi-sectoral, sijui nini, sijui I'll sit up with the 150 youth and Gen Zs. I'll sit with sijui nani. Gen Zs do not want to talk. If you want to talk to Raila, call him. Enda hapo sijui hiyo ofisi yake huko anga hapo hivyo. Mwende mkakutane, muongee, mkimaliza murudi. Kwa sababu Gen Z itawatoa nyote as a group. In fact, it's good that you people are meeting. ODM, mkutane. Ndio maana tukiwatoa tuwatoe nyote kama one ninio. Karibu Gen Zs. Abu Kinyanjui. Karibu. Gen Zs are doing a good job. Absolutely. JPJ anasema, I'd say Raila has a cult of personality with his sycophants seeing him as infallible. Yes. Hiyo enigma ambayo anasema Raila is an enigma. It's being paled out. He's no longer enigmatic anymore. He's fallible. Fallible. Harun Peter Okello Ouma says, even if he refuses to resign, Gen Z will continue with the struggle and he will resign if currently the demand is still in high spirit. So appointing a new cabinet will make any, I think you said will make any change but to resign, okay? I think you mean it will not make any change. Yes. Even if he gives the Raila guys new ministerial position, it will not change anything. People are already done with him. Wame choka. You have to go, Ruto. I'm sorry, you have to go. Save us money and time and vitamin mingi. Na abductions. Just leave. Toka. Leave. Paul Tindi, karibu. He's saying very sad state of affairs in our country has gone to the dogs. Absolutely. Our country has been went to the dogs long time ago. This is just a new dog, a bigger dog. Ilienda kwa madogi kitambo. It's just a different. They're more rapacious. We have a more rapacious dog that's in power right now. Okay? So, anyway, to conclude, I'll just say this. I would have brought people in, but time is of the essence. But tomorrow, I'll probably go longer. Tomorrow is a big day, as you know. We will want to see what's happening. Samuel Karibu, Samuel Lemperuk, say, Kweli, brother, Ruto must go. Watching from Samburu. I'm not Gen Z, but I support guys. Thank you. I'm not Gen Z, but I'm a millennial. Samuel Karibu. Karibu sana. Samuel, make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment. YouTube, Paul Tindi, Harun Peter Okello Ouma. Thank you so much. I'll turn on the CC once I'm done. So if you want to watch and repeat, you can see the words, the things that you missed that I say that maybe you didn't get it. Utaipata. Abu Kinyanjui, thank you so much. JPJ, Kamakawa, nice seeing you again. George Kenyaga, Kamakawa. Well, this is my first time seeing you, but thank you so much for joining me. Edith Ambetsa, subscribe and like. Who else? Senaipe Kene, Karibu, subscribe. Don't forget. Harun Peter Okello Ouma, I think I mentioned your name again. Karibu. Lydia Captain Kamakawaida, Peter Mbithi. Thank you so much. Please don't forget. Usisahau, subscription is free. It's free. Hautacharge you. It's free. Just bang, bang, bang. Finya. Now like the video. Put the like. Now subscribe. And put your notification also so I can come in tomorrow when I come in. Kesho itakuwa moto. We are waiting to see what's going to happen tomorrow. And it must be interesting. It will be interesting. My prayer is, please, if you're going to MAANDAMANO, my friends was in Kenya, whether Huko Nairobi, whatever the case is, please, walk in groups, be safe. Safety first. I don't know what the plan is. I'm not Gen Z, part of the organization thing, so I don't know what the plan is. You come out and State House, I'm out and occupy CBD, I'm on tena bunge. Whatever you decide, we'll support it, okay? So please support the channel too by just subscribing. That's all you have to do. It's free. Just subscribe, share, comment, and do all the good stuff. It's been nice, ladies and gentlemen, seeing new faces, and I value your opinion, okay? So like, again, share, now subscribe. Guys, tomorrow it's going to be a long one. Tomorrow ni maandamano. Kesho ni maandamano. Tuesday, the mammoth one. Kesho ni maandamano. So don't miss tomorrow's live. I'll be here. Edith. Edith is laughing about the new dog. Yes. Yes. Hii dog iko hapa iko na rabies. So this dog is not playing around. So yeah, subscribe, share, like, comment, and all that good stuff. Na kesho tukutane. Ama namna gani? So put your notification on, subscribe kama uja subscribe, and if you have subscribed already, like the video, and I will see you tomorrow. Ama namna gani? All right, guys, be safe, and hopefully you mkiamua kurudi nyumbani, please come back home in peace. Make sure you don't get abducted. Ama uchapwe bunduki. Be safe, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace and blessings.